Welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding You, Empowered Healing for Divorced Women. I'm your host, Christina. I'm so excited to be here with you and bring you another episode. And this one is something that really ties into the theme that I personally have been working on as well. And it's 3 ways to call in more abundance after divorce. And we recently had a full moon and that really changed up my vibe and wanted to help me shift perspectives. I've been kind of in a little bit of a rut where I felt like I was staying stagnant. And when we're staying stagnant, it really feels that we're not seeing what's right in front of us. And so I am calling in and changing ways to be more abundant in my own life. And so I thought it'd be helpful to share 3 ways that you can call in abundance in your life as you're healing from divorce. And they're not your average ways of calling in abundance. These are specific to women who are healing and evolving on their journey after divorce. And so I encourage you to listen to all 3. If you find any that resonate with you, I would absolutely love to celebrate your wins with you and just really help to be excited to help be part of your support team. So feel free to tag me at Her Heart Heals on Instagram. You can also send me a DM if you wanted to just share an aha moment that resonated with you. And if you wanted to explore and go deeper on this topic, a lot of times I share deeper insight with the ladies who are signed up for my newsletter. So it's absolutely free. If it's something to where you would love to receive more empowerment, more information in your inbox, sign up. I would love to have you and be able to connect with you on a deeper level. And if you are wanting to just share the positivity, if you feel like this episode or any of the prior episodes have been helpful for you, please feel free to leave me a review. It's so important for me and as to getting the message out and helping as many women going through divorce as I can. And reviews are really the way to fuel the podcast algorithm, if you will, and have this podcast get shown to other women. So if you benefited at all, a 5-star review on any streaming platform that you're on would really, really mean just the absolute world to me.
You're listening to Her Heart Heals Divorce Radio. Hi, I'm Christina Cuevas. 7 years ago, I went through a divorce and it completely turned my world upside down, and I'm so glad it did. I documented my healing to share information with other women going through their own divorce journey. And now, with thousands of downloads around the world from divorced women just like you, I'm here to show you how to ditch the shame around divorce and finally heal so that you can regain the confidence to create your most abundant and joyful future. I'm so glad you're here. This is Her Heart Heals Divorce Radio.
Let's jump right in on the very first item to calling in more abundance, and that is changing your mindset and your perspective. All right, easier said than done. I know that's a big one. And it's like, okay, well, where do we even begin? But when we do this, we can start to notice things that are happening for us that are already right under our noses, and we may just not even realize it. Like, have you ever walked by something and noticed something, even though it's something that you have walked by a million different times and like it just now stood out at you, but you're like, no, that's been there forever. Why am I just now noticing it? Same thing goes when we change our mindset and our perspective. We're able to see things, and I'm talking in specifics to abundance, but we're able to see how things are working for us if we just shift our mindset and our perspective. And it's also kind of like when you finally decide on what your dream car is, black Land Rover Defender over here, and then you start to see that car everywhere. It's the same thing, same kind of perspective that I'm talking about here, is that that abundance, the thing that we're trying to call in, it already exists in our world. And sometimes it feels like what we're trying to call in is in like this whole other planet or realm or whatever. But the more we condition ourselves to see these things and we open our mindset and we shift our perspective, the more we can attract it. The more it becomes part of our real world, the more tangible it is. It's so close. And it doesn't seem so far fetched, right? It's in our orbit now. So, going back to the car example, if that's something that you're trying to call in, something that you're trying to manifest for yourself, picture yourself getting into the car, driving it around, pulling up at your favorite spot. Notice what's playing on the radio, the smell, all of it. What are you wearing when you're driving it? So, whatever that is that you're trying to call in, if you have a very specific thing or experience, I invite you to start to explore what your five senses are experiencing once you already have the thing. So, if you need some help as well and you want to go a little bit deeper on a perspective refresh, or you feel like you're also in a rut, same as me, and you are ready to just shift that, refer back to, I have another episode called How Adventure is Medicine. And it's all about a shift in perspective and how to really get out of that rut so that we can have a perspective shift. There's also another episode that I will be putting out called Falling in Love with Yourself. And that will really, really help you go deeper on changing your mindset so that you can begin to open up possibilities and be able to attract certain things, which in turn increases our abundance. The second item that I'm going to go over is writing down small goals and large goals. I am a total list girly. And when I get that amazing feeling of crossing something off on my to-do list, it makes me want to do it more. I find myself like throughout the day, like adding stuff to my list just so that I could cross it off because the feeling is so, so good. But the point and the reason why this helps us to call in more abundance is because the universe always meets us halfway in between our effort and when we need to just leap and trust. And so this also begins to get us out of our heads and leaning more into just making the small steps versus focusing on the big thing of like, how is that even going to happen? If it seems impossible and the universe carries us through to be able to accomplish said goal, sometimes it just starts by like focusing the small steps and then trusting that that bigger thing is going to happen later. And so going back to the list item is we get that satisfaction and that positivity of accomplishment that we so desperately need after divorce, because after feeling like we failed in a big way, those little and daily wins are what we need to show ourselves that we can have good days again and that we can begin to cultivate that and more of it. So write out your goals as often as you can. I like to do daily goals, and then I do like bigger long-term goals that I revisit like once a month or like once a quarter. But the magic is really in the daily goals, I'm telling you. Write down all of the things and begin to start to cross that off, feel how satisfying it is, feel how addicting it is. And it makes us really kind of want to champion for better days and really boosts our confidence. So the last thing is something that I learned from one of my mentors, and it's been such a game changer, and it actually works in a few different really cool ways. And that is, before you go to bed at night, take a mental inventory from the beginning of your day and everything that went good that day. So just starting out and going through how your day went, when you get to a moment that is a positive moment, it doesn't even have to be like anything big. It could just be like, my morning flowed without any interruptions. stop and savor it for a sec. And the reason why I love this so much is because it's kind of like a mental gratitude list. So I personally, I know I'm a list girly, but like a gratitude list is not something that I have ever been able to get behind. I've tried it. It's not something that's ever really stuck for me. But this really helps because it's also taking a time to reflect on how our day went, which is also really important if you don't journal. I also cannot get into journaling. I've tried it. It is just not for me, which is fine. If it's good for you and it's how you reflect, then maybe you incorporate this and reflecting, doing positive reflections on how your day went as part of your journaling practice. It's a beautiful way to incorporate into your journaling practice if that's for you. But for me, just that mental Rolodex of how my day went is also really helpful in helping me fall asleep. And if you're like me and you're busy and you've got a lot of different things open, it can be tough to fall asleep at night with our mind just kind of going a million different ways. But even if we're doing this process on an average day, or maybe we had a terrible, terrible day, we're still closing it out, focusing on the good, focusing on what went well. And it really helps me to balance my stress levels and allow me to fall asleep and get really great sleep. And so that is sort of the bonus that I was talking about. So, bonus as far as this is the fourth way to call in more abundance is just getting that great night's sleep so that we can begin the day ready to go and not feeling like we're always playing catch up. So, hopefully that was helpful for you. And I'll just kind of recap what we went over. So, the first thing that you can do is changing your mindset and your perspective to opening up things that are already abundant for you right now. The second thing is writing down small goals for the day and large goals and crossing those off and sort of building that repetition of positivity and confidence. And then the third item is doing the mental Rolodex of things that went really well for you that day. And the fourth thing is get a good night's sleep. So I hope this was helpful. Of course, please tag or DM me if you implemented any of these items or any of these worked for you. And I would love to just hear and celebrate with you if it was able to make even just a small impact. So I really look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, peace out. Want to learn more? I'm going to add a link in the show notes to the website, herheartheals.com. And there you can access all of my helpful tips, the blogs on there, and schedule a session with me. Are you on Instagram? I'd love to connect. You can follow me, and my handle is @herheartheals. Hope to connect with you soon.